Now, I think the other aspect is like the mentality, which is basically what we have been sort of touching on. Like, and this says a lot, right? Did Anthony Joshua quit in the first fight?
Right.
And if so, what does that mean?
And he did quit, right? And I'm not saying that it's like a bad thing, right? But very clearly he could have argued, like he walked up casually.
The biggest thing is he turned his back.
Turned his back.
That is
he put his arms up on the thing, and I don't think anybody could really argue that was a bad stoppage.
It wasn't a bad stoppage.
Because he was mentally gone at that point.
Yeah, he was done. Joshua, if a fighter turns their back and walks away from the referee, keeps their hands on the fence, doesn't lift their hands up to show responsiveness,
right?
He quit.
Yeah.
He quit. Now, I think a lot of people are wrong when they're like, "Oh, Anthony Joshua quit. He has no heart. He has no."
Sure, he has heart.
It's like the man got knocked down. How many times do you want to see this guy knocked down? He got knocked down 5 times. The 2 knockdowns in the 7th round, I thought were the most brutal of the fight. Like, do you want to see the man knocked down 8 times?
And shorten his career.
Yeah. It's like, but the thing is, too, like, number one, I think he was on complete autopilot. I don't think he was cognitively even there from the first punch. He got knocked down 4 times and came back and tried to fight. Like, what do you want from the guy?
To be fair, he beat Klitschko when he was buzzed and dazed and on autopilot, right? Like, his heart cannot be questioned, but I think when it comes to his Andy Ruiz's heart, that caloric, buttery heart of Andy, you know, like I think Andy's is just stronger.
Well, here's the question. I don't think Andy's mentality or his heart were even questioned. I feel like you have, it's almost like like Halo. You have to crack the shield to hit their health, right?
Sure.
You have to crack someone's chin to even get to like their mental fortitude and their heart. Andy's chin was never cracked in that whole fight. Like, he got knocked down, sure, he took some big shots, but he wasn't discombobulated.
Sure.
His body language never changed. His
Right.
facial expressions never changed. Anthony Joshua, 1st round and 7th round, was a completely different human being.
Right.
Like, it was the same hardware, different software.
Right.
For sure. So, it's difficult. Like, I don't think we know anything about Andy's heart, which is a testament to his chin. Not saying he doesn't have one.
Right.
But I think that I think the narrative should be like, wow, Joshua showed so much damn heart in that fight to come back from 4 knockdowns, and then after the 5th knockdown, he was still upset that it was stopped.
Right.
Like, I still think he quit in the moment, but like, if you haven't done combat sports, it's way easier to get on somebody for quitting.
Sure.
Like, if you've ever rolled with somebody who's better than you at jiu-jitsu, if you've ever like sparred somebody who's better than you,
or had a flash
knockdown, like, everybody quits, man. It's just people have different thresholds, and I think Joshua showed a damn high threshold.
Not everybody quits, right? Because there are people that like, and I'm not. I think just some people are built differently. Like, if I was on Bambi legs and I was like thinking about it, like I would quit, because I would say, you know, like, well, is this worth me shortening my lifespan? Is this worth the CTAE? But then there's people like Andy Ruiz that this is their fucking life, right? This is what they were made to do.
Yeah.
Right? They're a scrappy motherfucker from the ghetto, from California, right? And they've been fighting since they were 5. Anthony Joshua has been fighting since he was like, what, 19?
Yeah.
Right? And he's obviously intelligent. He's well-spoken. He has a lot of money at this point. I just don't think that he has that same mentality that Andy has.
See, but then I feel like Roberto Duran, right? No mask. Roberto Duran's one of the toughest mofos to ever walk the earth.
I think it was more than just. I think it was a frustration at being taunted.
Right, but what I'm saying though is, like, he still quit.
But he quit for different reasons.
But it doesn't. But there doesn't matter. Like, everybody has. My only point is
limit.
Everybody has a breaking point.
Sure.
I agree with you though. It's like, it's here and here. People are different, whatnot.
But I think what, like, okay, so if let's just say.
Do you think Joshua has a small heart though?
No. I just think that he doesn't want to get damaged beyond the point that he's not going to be remembering himself when he's 70.
When he's 30.
When he's 30, yeah. Which is a year from now.
I know. But I think that's the difference. I don't think it was like a cognitive decision to quit. I think he just didn't have anything more. Like I don't think he was there cognitively enough to think through like
he
the
couldn't
CTE
perform, and
all that stuff. I think it was more so just like, oh damn, get up, like get to rope, stand up, and I think that's like literally the only thing his body had left was like get to the ropes,
Right.
and so that's why he turned. That's why he was on the ropes. Like I don't think he literally was having a single thought go through his brain except for that, and that was the problem. And he was done. Like, he was done. It was a great stoppage. But it's dumb because fans at the same time want, like, they're like, oh, protect the fighters, don't have late stoppages and stuff. And then when there is a stoppage like this, they're like, oh, this pussy quit. What an idiot.
Fight game's tough, man.
Yeah, it's like, what a pussy. He's out. He quit.
Fans are the worst.
But, like, I don't know. Joshua, he obviously didn't want to continue fighting, but he obviously still hadn't given up on winning, if that makes sense. Like, that's the dichotomy.
Right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he, like, didn't know what the ref was even saying. Like, you even see him watching, and he's just kind of looking like, what? What's going on? And the ref goes like this, and he's like, no! So, like, there's a big, that's how I read it.
Sure.
And I do agree with you. Like, I think of the two, Joshua is more likely to quit than Andy is. Partially because I think Andy's cardio is better. I think Andy has an amazing chin. And I think those are the two biggest factors.
I also think he's been doing it a lot longer than Anthony.
He also hasn't taken as much damage, weirdly.
Right.
Which is a big factor. Like, I'm a big believer in people's chins degrading over time as they take more damage.
And AJ has taken, I mean, he got rocked by Klitschko.
He got rocked by White.
Really? Dillian White?
Yeah.
Bad,
like with a hook actually.
Okay.
Funnily enough, he got buzzed with Klitschko. He got rocked by White. He got knocked down like what 5 times by Ruiz.
So he's had some. He's taken
moments. Some damage.
Yeah.
So I think Anthony Joshua quit, but I don't think that says anything bad about him.
No, absolutely not. Well, I think it's admirable if you have in the back of your head like, okay, this is money. Do I value money once I have it?
Bro, if AJ had a single thought running through his head at that point, then he should, like, I don't know. He's a brilliant brain because the man. It's like if you took a computer and just smashed it with a sledgehammer over and over again. It's like maybe it'll turn on, but it isn't gonna run like Adobe Premiere or something, right? Like
that CPO is fried.
He's fried. Like the lights were on, but nobody was home for sure. He was. It's weird how actually brutal that fight was on the rewatch.
Yeah.
Because it was brutal. And people don't talk about it like it was I think it's because nobody got cut and nobody's face really looked bad after. Like Joshua or Ruiz, neither Joshua nor Ruiz had swelling.
Right.
But
they took damage.
Bombed each other.
Yeah.
They unloaded all over each other's face. It looked like a Brazzers gave corn. They just were unloading constantly on each other. But ultimately, I do think that Joshua is going to... I think Joshua has more motivation.
There's a lot of factors.
Yeah, I think Joshua's more motivated by legacy. I think Andy's more motivated by prize fighting. And I think that, in my opinion, is going to be what this fight comes down to. Mm-hmm. Joshua wants to cement a legacy. Joshua is thinking about, like, fucking Achilles stuff. Like, how will I go down in history?
Sure.
Andy's like... Hey man, I bought a G-Wagon and a Rolls Royce this week. I'm a happy camper.
I mean it would appear that way.
Yeah.
Right? But also it is a big deal to be the first Mexican heavyweight. It is a big deal to
But is it a big deal to Andy? That's the question. Because it doesn't matter unless it's a big because people, me and you talk about this all the time. People say a lot of stuff.
You think somebody that has been fighting for 5 years old.
But what's his reason? That's what it is. Like, I'm sure if you asked him, he'd be like, yeah, it's a big deal. I'm super proud.
When he was 5, do you think it was because of money?
Yeah.
Like, when he was 5?
Bro, like, I don't... Do you know, like, is his family... Does his dad box? Who boxes in his family? Like, who got him into boxing?
That's fair.
I think it was always, like, I'm Andy Ruiz. I'm going to be a boxer. Like, I'm going to... make enough money to take care of my wife and my kids, which, by the way, that's not a criticism.
It's not a criticism.
That's 100% an admirable goal. I think he might have had a goal of getting the belt or even being a unified heavyweight champion of some sort, right? which he is.
Which he is, yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, he's never been a guy who's talked about legacy, like you said. So I think his biggest motivation in this fight is like show it's not a fluke and beat Joshua. And make and I think the biggest motivation is, damn, I get that Saudi money and that the zone money on the rematch.
That's true.
And so I don't think Andy would ever not try in a fight. It's kind of the same thing we were talking about with Cowboy Cerrone. Like, never in a million years. But is he going to push quite as hard? Is he going to have the same, like, be willing to make the same gambles? I think Andy would, right?
No, definitely.
But in training camp or, like, I don't know. It's hard to say because if you don't have something internalized, it's like, will you just do that? What separates someone from being a great to being, like, an all-time great?
And I think that he's, like, okay, so if he has somebody who's a customado to a Tyson Fury, right? Like,
to a Mike Tyson.
Or sorry, Mike Tyson, yeah.
We're both on these names today,
right?
man.
It's terrible. You know, like, then that roadmap can work, right? Because as much as I like, you know, Mike Tyson, you know, it's just very much like
he was
not
the gun.
Yeah, he was the gun.
He was the gun that Customato pointed.
And I think if Andy's coach, and I'm not saying he's as good as Cuss, but I do think he's a good coach.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, I think it could play out similarly.